Hey guys, what's going on? I'm your host Jared Bronstein and welcome back to InformOverload. Make sure you guys are subscribed and of course hit that bell so you can be notified when we post more videos. I'll be replying to your comments from a previous video at the end of this one, and you guys gotta let me know in the comments down below if you think climate change is real. Now I know half of you guys are gonna be like, did he really just ask that? But yeah, I did. Some people think it's legitimate, some don't. So I just want to know your thoughts. Don't worry about what I think. It's scientifically proven. Just yesterday, the United Nations climate report made it very clear that if we continue treating our planet the way we've been doing, well, we'll be in much more trouble than we already are. According to the report, if climate change doesn't slow down, it's believed global sea levels will rise by more than 3 feet by the end of the century. This is a 12% increase compared to what was estimated back in 2013. Jane Lubchenco, a former administrator of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, said, I quote, "As a result of excess greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, the ocean today is higher, warmer, more acidic, less productive, and holds less oxygen. The conclusion is inescapable. The impacts of climate change on the ocean are well underway. Unless we take very serious action very soon, these impacts will get worse, much worse." UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres explained, "We're currently in a race that we're losing, but it's a race we can win if we change our ways." He also explained what was once considered climate change should now be considered a climate crisis due to the rise in temperature, more intense storms, and scientific proof. There's fear that if things don't change sooner than later, by 2050, cities like Manila, Bangkok, Barcelona, Sydney, Los Angeles, Miami, and Honolulu, to name a few, could face catastrophic floods annually. Co Barrett, panel vice chair and NOAA deputy assistant administrator for research, explained how glaciers and ice sheets have melted faster than ever before, which in turn has led to rising sea surface temperatures, which have caused the planet's waters to absorb the heat. However, they can only absorb so much and are literally getting to a point of no return. Barrett said, I quote, "For decades, the ocean has been acting like a sponge, but it can't keep up. The consequences for nature and humanity are sweeping and severe." The report also claims the following: seas are now rising at 3.66 millimeters a year, which is 2.5 times faster than the rate from 1900 to 1990. The world's oceans have already lost 1 to 3% of the oxygen in their upper levels since 1970 and will lose more as warming continues. From 2006 to 2015, the ice melting from Greenland, Antarctica, and the world's mountain glaciers has accelerated and is now losing 653 billion metric tons of ice a year. Arctic June snow cover has shrunk more than half since 1967, down nearly 2.5 million square kilometers. Arctic sea ice in September, the annual minimum, is down almost 13% per decade since 1979. This year's low, reported Monday, tied for the second lowest on record. If carbon pollution continues unabated, by the end of the century, there will be a 10 to 35% chance each year that sea ice will disappear in the Arctic in September. Marine animals are likely to decrease 15%, and catches by fisheries in general are expected to decline 21 to 24% by the end of century because of climate change. So it's quite evident that if we don't find a way to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, as well as invest hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars into combating climate change, our world is in some serious trouble. Some of the changes are now irreversible. We can't take back what's already been done, but we can make a change moving forward and adapt the best we can given our current circumstance. Dozens of smaller nations announced their plans for coming years, but the likes of the US, China, and India didn't seem to promise much. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi vowed to more than double renewable energy, but it seems President Trump didn't have much to say. Unfortunately, those 3 countries are the biggest contributors to climate change due to their gas emissions. And as great as it would be for India to double their renewable energy, we're going to need much bigger changes from the 3 before we see any real change. Hopefully moving forward, the science can prove to these countries and people around the world how serious climate change is and the things we need to do to leave a better future for our children and our children's children. Now that we're all concerned about the end of the world, I'll read some comments from the video. Rat jumps at the deep fryer at popular burger chain, just to kind of ease up the tension here, because I really, this video is like hard to write. I was like kind of concerned. I'm very concerned. So let's just like, Demonetization bot said, what would Gordon Ramsay say? Who the rat like this? You put it in a deep fry, it's raw, you idiots! Frank A said Jared is the kind of guy you want to have a beer with. Oh buddy, when I have beer I don't have just one. But if you guys ever want to have a beer with me, let me know. Like, I live in Toronto. If you guys want to grab a beer, just DM me on Instagram. I'm a pretty chill guy. I reply to everybody, I don't care. Storm King 989 said burger employee. Anybody ordered a fried rat burger? That's funny. I shouldn't laugh. I feel bad for the rat, but that was funny. Anyways, guys, that does it for this video. Getting back to that more serious note, climate change is no joke, so please do your part to help the world and help our future generations. I've been your host, Jared Bronstein. Make sure you guys are subscribed and ring that bell so you guys never miss a video. Give us a good old thumbs up and leave us your thoughts in the comments down below. We'll see you guys again soon.